today I really want to segue into feminism and why it's a completely false doctrine and actually an ideology. So firstly I want to transition with this wage gap kind of thing. I might go over a few things with this wage gap or whatever, but for today let's just go over the wage gap. So women's wages for the year of 2015 in New Zealand were 11.8% lower than that of a man, again, in New Zealand. Throughout the last 17 years, women have earned, on average, 13.01 less than men. We're going to work it out on last year's average. So so this is bad if you don't take into account places women tend to work and the hours women tend to work based on family holidays along with sick leave, and also the fact that women do not go for promotions as much as guys do. Not only that, but the thing I'm going to be talking about today is population. I haven't really heard many people talking about population at all on this issue. So I really thought that it is important to actually methodically go through it mathematically. So here today we're just going to work through the pay gap on mathematics alone. Firstly, we'll look at population. Here in New Zealand, there are about 4,242,448 people living in New Zealand as per New Zealand's 2013 census. So we're going on 2013 because I don't want to make any assumptions onto the population really too much. I do make a couple of assumptions because I have to, because I can't find a few bits of data I need to make an accurate assessment, so I have to add in a bit of assumption. So 2,036,183 men compared to the 2,205,864 women. I cannot find statistics on the child population of New Zealand. However, for the sake of argument, this is where I have to check these assumptions. So let's make an assumption that, say, half both the male and female population is children. This would make the population of working eligible from under 15 women about 1,106,137 compared to only 1,018,091 men. Now in New Zealand, only about 64% of women actually work compared to the 75% of men who work. This would be about 715,891 women compared to the 763,568 men. So now we start to see the difference. We can start to contrast them. So more men work than women. So at the moment we can start seeing where we are going along here. And I'm doing this by actual numbers. It would be exactly the same kind of statistics if I didn't half it, right? So it would just be double the amount it is now. So even now we see that men on it's all on average, by the way, right? So the wage gap is based on average, the average wage gap, not on a literal wage gap, not on what one woman earns on an hourly basis. Even though people say it is, even the websites which I got it on said it was. So these are based on actual yearly averages. So if you look at not only the participation rate, which is about 60, like I said, 64%, but it's become a little more of a side note because of the statistics. Alright, out of the 750,891 women working, 63% of them work for free. They work as volunteers, which means that only 35%. This makes total of women who get any money for work 264,879 compared to 496,319 who work in New Zealand. So, in New Zealand, there's no wage gap in the sense of, in fact, the wage gap is so significantly low, there is no argument that feminists have. Firstly, women work a hell of a lot less, and if they do work, they work for free a lot of the time. Only around about 37% of women actually work for any money, and that is on their own on their own backs. So if women don't want the wage gap, and also, by the way, it should be about 50%. Just looking at them now, about 50%. If maybe a little bit less, maybe 40%. The wage gap should be about 50% less than men. But women only earn about 11.8%, at least last year. They've never been beyond, in the last 17 years, they've never been beyond 16%. I mean, if you're going based on this mathematics, the wage gap is way lower than it should be for women. And I'm not saying that women get paid less, because if that was the case, by the way, you have to look at logic. Men, or even women employers would most likely only hire women because it's logically more economical. But they don't. But not only that, we have discovered today in New Zealand, I mean, I am in New Zealand, so I'm going to only talk about New Zealand as much as I can. In America, I see it being about the same-ish. The actual statistics, when you look at them, maybe not the numbers, but the statistics would be about the same. So, I mean, I just don't see, especially in New Zealand, I don't see any reason for feminism to be here. By the way, we've had 2 women prime ministers who were crap, by the way, just saying, who were terrible. They didn't do their job at all, really. And one of them is going for the UN seat, and is in the bid for that. So, yeah, there's that. So there's no real reason for feminism in New Zealand, but we still have it. Maybe a whole lot less feminism, but we still have it. And any feminist in New Zealand who is here, feminism is crap, and there is no reason for it to be in New Zealand. Number one, the facts I just gave you on the wage gap. If there's any other problems, we can sort that out. Right? I just gave you facts on the wage gap. There is no wage gap in New Zealand. There is none. Not in the sense of what you think it is. And we just worked out that the wage gap that there is on the average is easily explained. In fact, I'm surprised. So, I would say there's a wage gap. If there's a wage gap, there's a wage gap between women and men. Women and men. And the other way, I would twist it and say, I would flip it, and say men get paid less than women, because women should only be getting about 40% of what men get on average yearly. And this isn't the case. They're getting 11.8% last year. No less than 16%. Come on, that's ridiculous. If you look at the statistics, it's there. I will leave citations down in the link below, in the description below, so you can go look at these facts for yourself, calculate them for yourselves. If you can find the population of children in New Zealand, I would love that, the demographic between man and woman. men and women with children. I love that. Boys and girls, sorry, I should say. I love that, and if you can afford it to me, that'd be great. And I can do another video with an actual based on 2013 statistical analysis and the success and everything like that. Based upon that. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. But until then, stay safe, guys, and as always, Amen.